Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So for today's video we're going to start a brand new playthrough of Pacific Drive. This game recently came out in the UK, it was towards the end of February, and a friend recommended it to me so I decided to pick it up. I also thought that we should make a bit of a playthrough series on the channel as well. I want to branch out. I do want to add a small disclaimer as well, which is that I'm not stopping the Helldivers content. That will be one of my main focuses going forward for the channel. I do want to focus on Helldivers, but I also want to branch out and try other things, maybe do some single player playthroughs, stuff like that, and this one seems like a pretty decent game, and it seems to have quite a lot of single player and story based elements to it, so we'll start with this one for now. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the settings page. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through this in detail, we're not going to be here for half an hour just looking at settings for the game. There is one setting in particular I'm wanting to change, which is in the audio settings. It's basically a streamer safe mode, so I really like that a lot of devs are adding this into games as well. It just seems to make life for people like myself and streamers a lot easier when it comes to making content for these types of games. So obviously with this game we're going to be spending a lot of our time in and around cars, and we're probably going to have the radio on a fair bit. And what this setting does is it basically just turns off all the copyrighted music from the radio, so if there's ever music playing, you can be safe in the knowledge that it's not copyrighted, so you're not going to suffer any problems from that. I also want to add that for these first couple of episodes, I'm not going to be commentating too much. Obviously, this is a story-based game and it's single player, so there's going to be a few cutscenes and characters talking, some backstory, some explanations. I will pop in every now and then on the tutorials and if I need to explain certain things that I'm doing. But for the first couple of episodes, it's going to be mainly the game's audio, mainly the game, taking us through the story. Right, so here we are in the game, and as I expected, we are driving a vehicle. It's not the car that I expected, but it does appear to be some kind of delivery truck or van. One thing I would like to apologise for straight away is the state of my driving in this game. It's very jerky because mouse and keyboard is not friendly when it comes to driving. It's difficult to make micro adjustments and, small movements on a road when you're driving on a mouse and keyboard because you can't really gradually push the button down. It's literally just you push it and your car's turning. So I do have to apologise. One thing you'll notice is that I do actually end up switching to controller at some point at the start of this video because I notice the jerkiness of the car and the way that my character's hands are constantly moving left and right when I'm trying to turn and making those small adjustments on the road. So I do switch to controller, and then later on you'll notice I end up switching back. I will promise you right now that for the rest of the playthrough I'm going to be exclusively mouse and keyboard, so I do have to apologise for the state of my driving. I'm not great at driving on mouse and keyboard. I've always been a mouse and keyboard player, and when it comes to moving around and interacting with the world and stuff like that, I've always been mouse and keyboard. It's just my preferred peripheral choice. There are some games that I do switch to a controller for, which is like racing games, like some sports games as well. I prefer being on controller, but yeah, for this game I'm going to be mouse and keyboard exclusively, so I do apologise for how poor my driving is going to be and the constant jerkiness of car turning.
You might have to bang behind red eyes on the highway.
Anyone out there? Hello? Could have sworn never mind. Francis, the radar's acting up again. You were supposed to tune up this piece of junk years ago.
So I'm guessing that was our intro tutorial for the game, where it was basically just, here's how the basics of moving around. You can walk, you can sprint, you can crouch under things, you can jump over things, you can invisibly kick things down with your non-existent leg. And now they're wanting us to get in this car and drive east, finding this kind of shelter. Again, you will have noticed I switched back to mouse and keyboard as soon as we were out of the car, so I think this is the point that I'm now going to stick with mouse and keyboard for the rest of the game. I don't think I go back to controller at all. I imagine that if I do go back to using a controller, I'll probably mention it in a future video.
It's back! This is Tobias Barlow and Francis Cook, located in mid-zone sector B. Do you read me? I'm picking up your distress signal in the outer zone. It looks like you're somewhere around sector E. Hey, Francis, come here! Yes, it's urgent. Leave that interferometer alone for a second. Something is out there. Hey, we got a live one. Hey, do you copy? Hello? Hello? Is this thing working?
They don't have a transmitter. We won't hear a thing back.
Huh. But if they're stranded, could they, they're from outside? They're a breacher? Hey, how did you get through the barrier wall? No one's gotten into the zone in ages and lived to tell about it.
And if we don't get them to safety, this one won't either.
That's a good point. Hey, you're in serious danger. The instability's closing in, and it's gonna scramble you quicker than beef in a blender. Your closest shelter is a few miles east. Get there however you can, and be quick about it. Hold the phone. There it is again, that blip on the spectrometer. I've seen that waveform before, but where? No kidding. Could it be? A remnant?
That can't be. There hasn't been one in decades.
Look at that spectral fingerprint and tell me that doesn't match the remnants exactly.
No. What we should be looking at is how fast this creature seems to be moving.
Huh. You know, if I didn't know better, I'd say they're going about the speed of a... No way. No way. Do not tell me. They found a remnant and it's a car this time? Holy cripes! No one's had working wheels in here for ages. Boy, I'd kill to know how a combustion engine's still chugging away out there.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, the breacher needs to get to safety. Then we can look into whether that car is a remnant or not.
In my heart of hearts, I already know. They're back, baby.
Okay, so that was a little bit confusing. I think I understand it now. I think the game is trying to teach us that that green stuff on the floor is dangerous. The circles that keep expanding. When we got stuck in the car earlier and it was rolling backwards, well, first of all, I didn't realise that I'd turned the engine off by accident when I was trying to take the parking brake off. So when we were rolling backwards, I thought that we were just reversing. So I kept looking at the parking brake thinking that, have I just put it in reverse by accident without realising, even though it says parking brake? No, we turned the engine off and all we had to do was turn it back on to get going. And when that was happening, you'll have noticed that my screen had gone really like staticky and there was the red kind of blood effect outline on the edge of the screen. So I think that's what it's trying to tell us. It's trying to tell us that this is dangerous, don't stand in it when you see it out in the game in future. Obviously, it's not doing damage to us currently because we're still in the tutorial level and it's just trying to teach us about these things. I also got really confused about when he said go into the shelter and then we pulled up in front of that big grill and I was just like, what, this drain pipe? Do you want me to go in here? And then, no, realised that the road leads off to the right and we were supposed to keep driving up there.
Who's there? The shop. It's been breached. You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out before I... Ow! My head. It's an emergency broadcast.
Hello, attention. This message is for Dr. Ophelia Turner. We've sent a breacher to your garage on, official zone business. Now, we have it on very good authority that this person is in possession of a remnant, which has taken the form of a car, and, well,
Get off the remnant thing. She's not gonna care.
right, like I said, super official zone business. Protocol, demands that you keep them alive until we can get them to safety. Now, if you do not comply, I will occupy this broadcast channel with a recitation of the entire collection of poems I've personally written. That's 10 years and 17 volumes and...
Cover that voice, cuts like a nail gun to the skull. So, another breacher, huh? How do you outsiders not understand that Arda didn't build that 300-meter wall out there for fun? Unless you're one of the unfortunates who got zapped through. Wait, I just remembered. I don't give a damn why or how you got here. You're trespassing, and I'd kindly like you to get the hell out of my zone. Unfortunately, the barrier wall is as fortified against breaches trying to get in as it is against anyone or anything trying to leave. We have to find you a way out. So you might as well start by fixing up that car. Just don't break anything in my shop with those soft hands of yours.
So this is Oppie's Auto Shop. One thing I want to point out about this place is that I believe this is going to be our main kind of like staging area for the game. It's going to be our home point, our HQ, where we come back after certain story parts and missions and stuff, and certain drives where we go out and collect a whole bunch of things, get some story quest items and stuff like that, and, you know, gathering materials, and then coming back here, learning new blueprints, upgrading our car, putting new parts in, crafting, all that kind of good stuff. So I do like that the game has this kind of style to it, where it's not just you know, you're driving around going from one story part to the next story part. They have added some survival, some crafting, some gathering elements to it. It looks really cool. I also love the art style of the eye thing that we've just put on, the headset that she was talking about. I love the art style. It gives me a lot of vibes to the original Alien movie with the Nostromo and the kind of computers and technology that they use there. It just looks really cool. So I'm going to spend a bit of time now just going through the logbook, having a look at a few of the entries we've unlocked. I'm not going to sit and go through it every single time we get a new entry, but for future reference, I will look at certain entries if I get confused about something. So say I come across something and I'm not sure how to use it and it's unlocked a new logbook entry, I will go and look in there and see what it says, just in case it gives any hints as to how to use the certain item or the thing that I've just picked up, stuff like that. If you guys want me to continue going through the logbook every time we get entries, I can do that if you want to in future. Feel free to leave me a comment and just let me know, and I'll start adding that into future episodes. But I think for the first few episodes, I don't go through it too much. I think there's a few entries I look at, but there's not much that I don't want to sit there for 10-15 minutes every time going through every entry that we've unlocked when it comes to some of the more basic stuff as well. Right, so we're going to take this scrapper that the lovely glowing blue bin monster just spat at us. I'm assuming we have to come back to that thing on a regular basis and it's just going to spit random crafting bits at us. Thanks very much, bin monster. That's your official name until I can think of a better one. And we're just going to use this scrapper to break down this scrap car here into its component parts. And like I've already said, I do like that the game has some kind of, crafting and gathering elements to it. I am going to enjoy that part thoroughly, although I will have to make you all a promise right now that I will try and stick to, which is that I'm going to try and resist the urges to go and play inventory Tetris in my spare time. You might see in a future episode that all of the inventories have been organized and everything's nice and neat in little piles and you can see everything. I will try and resist doing that because I could drop hours and hours doing it. If you were to ever ask any of my friends that I play games like Valheim and DayZ and stuff like that, they'll tell you. They will support my claim that I am very bad when it comes to doing that. I can spend hours organizing inventories, especially on games like DayZ and Valheim. I will literally spend hours creating a whole inventory system where, with signs and everything that says, here's a chest for wood, here's a chest for stone, here's a chest for this, here's a chest for that. I could waste so much time. I could waste my entire life doing that, and I will try and resist doing it through this playthrough. If I do spend time doing that, if it gets to the point where I'm just that obsessive about it that I have to go and organize it all, I won't record that and put it up as a video, or I could record it and maybe keep it as a future video, but I don't think I'll ever upload it as part of the playthrough. I think I'll just keep it as something, something that's like a kind of like an off playthrough video, so it's something different. But we'll see what happens. If you want me to upload a video like that, feel free to leave a comment and tell me. If enough people say yes, then I guess I would do that. But I will say to you right now, it will literally just be me spending hours looking at different inventories and organizing them, putting certain things in certain places, because there is a place for everything and everything has its place.
There's a little prototype of mine in the garage. The Arc device. Hook it up to your car, wherever it'll fit. This beauty won't just be your tour guide. It's your North Star and the only way back to safety. Heck, you should consider it the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit if you plan on staying alive. That's how important this thing will be to you. Yes, that's my very own invention. I'll tell you more about it if you live long enough to use it. If you're all set, take a look at the projector against the wall. This is the zone. Within these borders, all matter has lost the ability to hold a constant physical state. What that means is the shape, size, and makeup of just about everything constantly changes. A mile of grass can turn into 10 miles of swamp in the blink of an eye, and it does. Constantly. It's caused by something we call instability. We're completely surrounded by it, and once you've watched it chew through entire mountain ranges, you'll understand that you don't want to get anywhere near it. We can only survive in here within pockets of stability. That's what you're standing in now. And that's what you're seeing mapped on the route planner. If we're going to find you a way out of the zone, you'll need to build a new antenna. Until then, you won't be able to detect stabilized routes beyond your immediate area. So, you've got to go hunting for parts, and that means taking a drive. Go on, pick a route. The Arc device in your car will then show you where you need to go.
Right, so we're going to end the first episode here. It's been about half an hour, so I think this is a good ending point. I hope you've all enjoyed watching this first episode of our Pacific Drive playthrough. We've repaired our car, we've got all our tools, we've installed the spacers and all the bits we're going to need whilst we're out and about, and we're ready to go on our first drive. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.